Techtember. Don't you love it? Welcome to those who haven't been here before. Welcome back to those who have watched before. Thanks for coming again. My name is Leah Langley, and you guessed it, the Apple September event 2025 was today. And I always really enjoy the Apple events. If you've been here for a while, a long, long while, my first ever videos and what I was talking about was Apple event type stuff. And I'm an Apple girl, and I always look forward to the events every year. WWDC, any type of things they announce, I'm on it. So of course, I was excited for this event. And as the years have gone on, there's been more spoilers, quote unquote, and kind of like the people like knowing what's coming out. I usually don't pay attention to that so much. Like I don't look into the details. It's kind of hard to ignore when you're a tech kind of person. Oh, here's a picture of what this is gonna look like and yada yada. But whatever. I still get excited for it. Especially like I said, I can dive into the details and see what Apple has been working on for the past year plus, and presenting to us all. So let's jump right in. Tim Cook starts the show basically with saying, we have some great announcements for you today on AirPods, Apple Watch, and iPhone, and we will go in that order in that video as this is a little recap. So we start off first with AirPods Pro 3. Now this I was particularly interested in because I wasn't necessarily planning on getting new AirPods. I have just ordered the new AirPods Pro, but I was thinking about it as I was watching and they were going on with it. I have the first generation AirPods. I didn't get them right when they came out, but I got them like maybe a year or so later. So like 2020 at least. I don't know exactly when I got them because I had normal AirPods before. And my AirPods Pro currently, they still are really good and things like that. But I've had problems with like good like people hearing me well on like phone calls and things like that. Sometimes the noise cancellation isn't as great. So I was kind of like I was paying attention especially to this kind of like presentation. And as I said, I just ordered them just a couple minutes ago, and looking forward to getting them next Friday. So yeah, the kind of quick little to-dos with the AirPods Pro 3. Custom multi-port acoustic architecture, which transforms the bass response, widens the soundstage. There's new foam infused ear tips. There's actually 5 different sizes of the ear tips. They kind of redesigned the whole AirPod to kind of like match the design of the ear to make sure it fits better and give you again some like different sizes for people's ears to work out. 2 times active noise cancellation versus AirPods Pro 2, and 4 times active noise cancellation versus AirPods Pro 1, which is what I currently have. There's also live translation, which is powered by Apple Intelligence. Some of these features, you need to watch the WWDC video to get like the whole like iOS 26, that whole kind of thing recap, but they were talking a lot about these kind of like new enhancements that they've been adding. So one of those in the AirPods is live translation, and they kind of showed what it looked like. You're talking to someone in a different language and they're telling you what they're saying, live translation, powered by Apple Intelligence. So that's kind of cool. It is now IP57 dust and water resistant. First for AirPods, very nice. There's heart rate sensing during workouts. They're talking about Workout Buddy, those kind of things we talked about, back in the summer. Longer battery life from 6 hours to 8 hours now with active noise cancellation, and 10 hours in transparency mode for people who are using it for hearing aids. Really great stuff. The whole hearing aid situation, like the whole hearing test that they added on, I was interested to do that. I feel like I have good hearing, but I feel like it's just such a great thing that they were able to do that. And in general, I'm a person who likes to wear my AirPods during loud like services or concerts, and put them on transparency mode because sometimes it's too loud. And even again, if someone who actually needs like hearing support, they have some great little things in there. So that's amazing. They are $249. You can pre-order today, and they are available, as everything's going to be available today, next Friday, the 19th of September. All right, that's number 1. Number 2 now is Apple Watch Series 11. It is the thinnest ever Apple Watch to have 5G capability. As suspected, there's hypertension tracker in the Apple Watch, and it can kind of like alert you to possible hypertension, which I think is really important, really great. A new sleep score was giving me like copycat of my Oura Ring. I do wear both to sleep, my Apple Watch and my Oura Ring. Obviously the Oura Ring is like sleep focused and it's much more detailed with a lot of things, but the Apple Watch sleep stuff is actually pretty decent. The couple things I've scrolled through, so they're just obviously just enhancing it, which looks interesting. 24 hours of battery life now. It's in 5 colors in recycled aluminum and 3 colors in recycled titanium, a whole bunch of different cases and things like that they're doing. Looks nice, looks cool, and it's $399. Next, we have the Apple Watch SE. It now has the S10 chip, so that brings it with always on display, double tap, wrist flick. Music and podcasts can play through the speaker. 18-hour battery life, fast charging, which is 2 times faster than the previous model, which is really nice. I think it's like they said you can charge for 15 minutes and get like 8 hours of charge, which is really, really great. And that is $249. That is like the base level Apple Watch entry level point. Very great. I saw some rumors about Apple at some point releasing like a very, very cheap Apple Watch, like that they kind of are targeting for kids potentially, that maybe has some type of cellular capability or some kind of thing. And I think that'd be interesting to have, because obviously more and more kids are getting technology, but like if you want to get your kid on something to keep them safe or just kind of like track them in a sense, but not give them a whole like Apple Watch or a whole phone, something like that could be nice. But SE has always been a kind of popular model for people who just want just the bare minimum of Apple Watch. So definitely some great upgrades there. We have Apple Watch Ultra 3. Now this one, I'm not going to get it because I just need to save money, but I currently have Apple Watch Ultra 1, and I bought this in July, and then in September, not this July, but in July of whatever year, and in September they released Apple Watch Ultra 2. And I bought it at the time I did, and I should have, there's 3 months in between, but I bought it at the time I did because my current Apple Watch that I had was like on the fritz, and I basically needed a new Apple Watch. And I've been wearing an Apple Watch ever since they announced the very first Apple Watch back in 2015. So it's been 10 years now with Apple Watch. I'm a very big Apple Watch fan. I'm not going to get the Apple Watch 3, even though again, when they announced the 2, they released it in black, and I was like, oh, I wish I had it in black, things like that. And my Apple Watch currently, the battery life isn't as strong as I would like it to be anymore. Like I was testing it the other day, and usually they say it's like 36 hours, 72 hours on low power mode. And I'm at around like, I'm like at like 30 or a little under 30 rather. And then lower power mode is, I forget what exactly it was, but I'm charging it more than I ever had to. That's kind of sad for me because that's one of the big reasons I wanted this one, just because it can last forever and ever. Anyways, I'm really going on a divergent path here, but Apple Watch 3, I was paying attention to it, and as someone gifts it to me, anybody, family watching, I'm not going to buy it myself. So they kind of started with like readability is up. They did some new things to get the brightness really, really big. The screen is also a little bit wider. No change in the case size, but they kind of made the bezels a little bit smaller. I can't really show you very well on this. Like maybe I'll find a picture and put it up. But looking at the picture that they had, you can tell the bezels are smaller based on what I'm looking at on my watch right now. So they have some wide angle OLEDs, very nice. Satellite connectivity is double signal strength, which is great. Emergency SOS free for 2 years for Apple Watch 3 owners. 42 hours of battery life, really awesome. And it's in black and natural titanium. And it is $799 as it always has been. So it looks like a nice watch, nice little upgrade. Of course, I really would like it in black, but unfortunately, unless I give this watch away to someone, like, I don't know, but I won't get it. I won't get it. Someone hold me to this. I will not get the Apple Watch Ultra 3. I'm looking at you in the eyes. I will not get it. I promise. But if someone gets it for me, no. Anyway, now let's move on to the iPhone, which is like what the meat and potatoes of Apple and what they are, what everyone wants to hear about. So we have 4 new iPhone models, Tim Cook says, and we jump right in with the very first one. iPhone 17. We have 4 different colors: lavender, mist blue, or 5 different colors, mist blue, black, white, and sage. It's a 6.3-inch display, so it's a little bit bigger because it has thinner bezels. Pro Motion in the phone now, which is the first time it's ever had, just like the Pro models, and it's up to 120 hertz finally. Now I always get the Pro phones, but I think it's crazy that the iPhone is just now getting, the lower base ones are just now getting 120 hertz, like when that's been the standard like everywhere for so long. So happy that they finally are doing it for people who have the lower base models, because not everyone necessarily notices 60 versus 120 hertz. But I remember, even for me, I currently have the iPhone 14, and I remember for me when I got this phone, i14 Pro Max, and I looked at like the screen versus what I had at the time, which would have been the 12 or 13. And I think this is when they first announced 120 hertz on the phone, I think. Someone don't quote me on that. But I remember looking at them and like doing them side by side, and I was like, whoa. Like, you don't always necessarily notice that if you don't really know what you're looking at, but like when I looked at it side by side, I was like, oh, this is awesome. So I'm happy for the base iPhone users. They can finally get this, even if they don't really realize it. 3000 nits peak brightness, highest ever on iPhone, so readability is up again. Ceramic Shield 2 they introduced, so it has 3 times better scratch resistance compared to the last model. A19 chip has an advanced CPU, GPU, and updated neural engine, and 8 more hours of video playback compared to the iPhone 16. Really, really great. Now the cameras, they introduced the cameras here, and that it basically is going to overflow into and even upgrade into the other iPhones we have to talk about. And the cameras right off the bat, I was just like, "Ooh, this is nice." And I already know I'm getting the iPhone 17 Pro Max, so I was obviously just really excited for this. So center stage on the front camera. Center stage is the camera feature that it keeps you centered in the stage, essentially. If you have a Mac, if you have an iPad, things like that, you know about this already. It keeps you focused in the center, which is really nice. And it has the widest field of view, almost twice the size of the previous front camera, this new sensor that's in the front camera. And it's square, when usually the sensors are apparently a 3:5 ratio, which allows for and now this kind of square situation allows for high resolution in videos and photos. So now the front-facing camera gives you options, 4 different options depending on the size. You know how you take a picture, you have to go to the right to or go horizontal to get it landscape. Don't have to do that anymore. It just does it you can change it on the screen automatically. Watching that was really just oh wow, this is nice. And I was telling you different kind of sizes, and it kind of can crop up and down based on who's in the picture with you. It just looked really, really sweet. And I was just oh wow, this is nice. And also the back cameras, we have 2 cameras again, 48 megapixel Fusion ultrawide camera, and the 12 megapixel one-time macro camera. And also we have 2 times telephoto camera. Just really, the iPhone cameras are really great. So they continue to do a great job there. So it looks exciting. That is $799 for that iPhone. And next up, the brand new guy on the block, the iPhone Air. The iPhone Air 1, the iPhone Air. Their thinnest ever iPhone, very exciting, 5.6 millimeters. It was very much giving that old MacBook Air presentation when Steve Jobs pulled it out, that envelope, very iconic, that whole kind of thing. Promotion on this phone, 3,000 nits, ceramic shield, 2 on the back as well as the phone, as well as the front, which is really great. Made out of titanium. We have it in space black, cloud white, light gold, and sky blue. It has the A19 Pro chip. It has wireless connectivity, which is really great. Apple N1 chip. The Apple modem is now the C1X, which is 2 times faster than C1. 48 megapixel Fusion camera, which has center stage, front camera again, same like the last one. Dual camo capability, which was basically, I can try to get a picture. It was someone at a basketball game recording their kid or whoever it was, and also their own reaction. Very, very fun. It looks cool. Other features like that as well in terms of the front camera. You can get action mode on the front camera, other things like that. And kind of help the stabilization. Really great stuff. eSIM only worldwide, which they want to maximize the space for battery life, and they give them all day battery life, 40 hours video playback, and apparently they have something called adaptive power mode, which learns your usage and kind of saves your battery depending on what they've learned from your usage, whatever. Apple's also announced some new accessories like a clear case, a bumper case, a cross-body strap, and Pro Performance and a light design is basically the tagline of this Air, and also, of course, thinness. And it is $999. I wasn't 100% sure with this camera if it was going to be below the iPhone, and then it'd be iPhone Air, then iPhone Pro. So I'm not necessarily surprised that they have it kind of as the middle of the road because, this is a whole new design. They're not going to want to sell themselves short in terms of pricing. Come on, it's Apple. So, looks like a nice phone. I hope I get someone in my life who gets this phone that way, or maybe I go to App Store and play around with it just so I can see what it's like, see what it feels like, how light it is. Very cool stuff. And finally, it's time for the big boy, iPhone Pro and Pro Max, which they didn't really mention the Pro Max until the very end, but I kind of was wondering for a minute, or maybe does Pro Max have a little bit of extra feature, but no, they just wrapped up the presentation with iPhone 17 Pro. It is solid aluminum, or aluminium, as some people might say. They completely redesigned the case of it, and they kind of showed this whole kind of picture and video showing how the case was redesigned. Biggest battery in any iPhone. A19 Pro chip as well has a new thermal system which helps dissipate the heat rapidly. There's a vapor chamber that's in the iPhone now that moves heat away from certain components and makes it again comfortable to feel and things like that, which is very nice because anyone knows these iPhones can get hot. And I also feel like this new solid aluminum case is going to be lighter because I think it's titanium currently on the 16s, but right now, or maybe something else, but my phone is heavy. And even I was holding someone's 16 Pro Max the other day, and I was like, this is not so much lighter, but it feels lighter than mine. And like, we'll see if this one's even lighter because the phone can be heavy at times. And like right now with this little wrist problem I'm having, I need like a little light phone. Like, please. We have Ceramic Shield again, the Ceramic Shield 2 on the front and back. So let me say what this actually is. 4 times more resistant to cracks compared to the previous model, and 3 times better scratch resistance than the previous model. So very, very great. Colors, we have Redefined Silver, Elements Deep Blue, and Orange, and just orange. Something else orange, but I just heard orange. Interesting that they don't have like a black color. I'd be surprised that they don't have some kind of black. I'm going to see actually when the pre-orders are. Maybe I'll look again on the website if they actually do have it, but don't tell me they're not going to have a black iPhone. What are you talking about? That orange is I'm not an orange. I'm a pink person all day. That orange, though, is nice. I wish they're never going to do it because they want to, it's kind of giving orange, like, Apple Watch has some orange and stuff here and whatever, but I feel like I'm never going to get a pink Pro iPhone, but I would so like one, or just like a custom one. People say, "Oh, Leah, get a skin. You could do all types of things." I don't want a skin. I want the phone just to be pink. And I always wear cases and things like that too, so it's not like I really even see it, but still, it's just my own preference. Anyway, where was I? We have Best Buy Live for an iPhone, which they kind of said twice in a sense, kind of. It has 39 hours of video playback, which is a little bit less than the Air, so I'm not sure how that's the best. For the eSIM only models, you get 2 more hours of video playback per charge, which is nice. Cameras, we have center stage camera and the front camera as well. All those great things. All 3 of the back cameras are 48 megapixel. Really, really great. We have 4 times and 8 times zoom. There's basically 8 pro lenses in your pocket. They show you kind of like the array of different photos we could take. Really, really fun. Video filming this event with the iPhone 17 Pro. They basically just talking about video, and they said, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're filming this with," and they announced some new features they added. We already had Dolby Vision, HDR, 4K 120, ProRes Log, and ACES, but they added ProRes Law and Genlock. And I don't really know what Genlock was, but they said it's like good for content creators and streamers for like accurate and professional looking transitions. Very nice. And the price for this is $10.99 and $11.99 for the Pros. And they actually now for the first time have a 2 terabyte model for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which is very nice. All the iPhones across the whole lineup, iPhone 17, iPhone Air, and iPhone 17 Pros, all start at 256 gigabyte storage, which is very great, especially for these like photos and videos, very big files. You need a lot of space. So all the iPhones you pre-order on Friday, and it's available like to ship to you or pick up whatever September 19th. So yeah, that is the Apple event, kind of in a quick little wrap up. It was a little over an hour of an event. There have been longer events certainly, but we'll see if they have another event maybe in October or something. But I think a new iPad's going to be coming at some point, iPad Pro. But yeah, very good event today. Lots of exciting stuff. Like I said, I just ordered the AirPods Pro 3. I will be ordering the iPhone 17 Pro Max on Friday. I got to pick what I want so that way it's ready to go. I'd recommend doing that. You can go on the Apple Store app and like put your thing in the cart already. And essentially you can just click the button on Friday when it's time. Because sometimes, I remember back in the day, and it still might be kind of like this. I've always been on it though. If you weren't on the app the day and time it opened, your delivery time would go back and back and back, especially for iPhones. You have to be there really early. And especially I feel like for Pro and Pro Max phones, you've got to be on it. So I'm excited to order these phones, or this phone rather. Not get an Apple Watch Ultra 3. And yeah, keep going along. When I get my Pro Max, I definitely will do like an unboxing video. I haven't done one of those in very, very long, but like I said, that was one of my first kind of videos back in the day talking about Apple stuff. So looking forward to doing one of those in the next couple weeks here and going over the whole thing. So yeah, drop your comments in the comment section below if you have any thoughts on the Apple event. Are you going to be getting any of these products? What are you thinking about the whole thing, about what's coming up with Apple? Apple Intelligence is still not really being talked about that much. Obviously, this wasn't a software event. This was a hardware event. And if you want to hear software stuff, you got to go to WWDC video that I recapped. So go ahead and check that out, or I'll link it below, whatever. But I'm looking forward to getting these phones and this phone. I keep saying these phones. I'm looking at the picture of the phones. Getting this phone. Finally time for an upgrade. I got this phone 3 years ago now. So it's been some time. So yeah. Let's get it. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye.